Welcome to Geeking Out with Shad. ICE vehicles are archaic and outdated. Um, I know there's some of you out there that'll just freak out when you hear me say that, but it's so true. Like, once you've been driving an EV for a while, you do not want to go back to an ICE vehicle. An ICE meaning internal combustion engine vehicle, gasoline, diesel powered, whatever. Um, the reason I'm doing this video, and I kind of wish I had the opportunity to do a video while I had it, but my Silverado is at just over 7,000 miles, right? And by the way, look at that range. Like, I have 49% battery and I still have 219 miles of range left. So that's pretty awesome. So, I had to take it in for its 7,000 mile. They do a tire rotation, they do a vehicle inspection and all of that. So they loaned me a Chevrolet Colorado and it was brand new. It had 14 miles on it. Colorado, gas powered, of course, right? They don't make a Colorado EV yet. I wish they did. And it was like going back in time. I mean, it was so crazy because, it's a brand new Colorado. You'd think, oh, cool, I'd be excited about it. And I kind of was for a moment. And then I started driving it and I'm like, man, this is so archaic. Started like accelerating and then like the gear shifts and the engine having to rev up. So it's like how a normal, especially with an automatic transmission works, and I'm sure you know this because you probably drive one, is the engine has to rev up to a certain RPM and there's only a certain amount of power. There's like what they call a power band. For example, some cars are like from 4,000 to 5,500 RPM or something like that, depending on the engine. Smaller engines tend to have that higher RPM where the power comes from. Bigger engines tend to have a lower RPM range, whatever, right? But just the fact that there's this area where you get power out of the motor at a certain RPM is archaic, because with an electric motor, you just get power regardless of what speed you're going. When you press on the accelerator, it goes. There's power. Like, it's crazy when you think about it. But so I'm accelerating with this Colorado and it's like revving up and then it shifts and then the revs go down and then it's got to rev up again and then it shifts and the revs go down. I'm doing this with my hand to simulate attack, right? So I drove ICE vehicles all the time growing up. Never thought about all of the mechanical things and this power band thing. I used to actually thrive on it, especially when I had performance cars. I had a Chevrolet Camaro. I had a Volkswagen GTI, things like that with a manual transmission. I wanted to shift at the right time, right? My Camaro, I could get second gear rubber and third gear rubber if I really gave it to it, right? And shift it at the right time, right? So, I get it. I get if you are a performance head, you love the performance cars, I understand the love for that. I'm not, crapping on that. The more performance oriented a car it is, then I'm sure it drives nice and has plenty of power, all of that stuff. But aside from and I'm talking good higher end performance cars, not cars that pretend to be performance cars. But you get to all the other vehicles on the road, all the normal driving vehicles, which is what 90% of the people drive, I don't know the actual percentage, but the large majority of percentage people just drive a regular everyday car, like that Edge over there, right? Or the Colorado I was driving, right? In that specific case, they're just so archaic. It's amazing. It's like, so let's go back to the Colorado experience. Okay, so I get on the highway, right? All this revving drama to get up to speed, and it doesn't even have that much power. It's okay, but it's not anything like driving an EV where I can literally pick where I want to go on the highway and just accelerate and get there. with no drama. All right. So I get on the highway. Well, the car in front of me starts to slow down a little bit, and I'm like, well, I want to go around them. So I see a car coming in the fast lane. I have time to get over and accelerate to get around the car and then get back into that lane. So I get over and I press on the accelerator. Downshift. I think it might have downshifted 2 gears, and it's just like, wah! And then shifts back up again and goes through that whole sequence. And it's like that, at that moment, I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, this is how internal combustion cars work. That's how they work. That's the only way they can work, because you have to be in that power band to get any power, so it has to shift gears and do all this crazy stuff. It's archaic. Like, it is outdated. We have such better technology here with EVs. And so here's an example of me just taking a left turn and accelerating in my Silverado. So smooth and consistent. Same thing every time. Okay, just smooth. And it does the exact same thing every time. When I do that turn again, it'll do the exact same thing. If I was going up a hill, it would do the exact same thing. If I was going down a hill, it would do the exact same thing. If I was already rolling and I needed to accelerate to get around somebody or go fast or whatever reason, it does the exact same thing. And it does it now. It just goes. Like, seriously, like, when I want it to go, it just goes. There's no delay. There's no downshift. And then there's the other thing with the Colorado is, like, there's times when I would be driving and then I'd let off the accelerator a little bit and then I'd put on the accelerator because I'm trying to adjust my speed, and there was no consistency. Every single time it had a different, like, experience, a different response time, a different, like, because of it, the power band all depends on where it is and doesn't need to downshift to get that little bit extra speed. There are certain speeds you can go where it constantly shifts, or if you're climbing a hill, it downshifts and then upshifts and downshifts. I've done that before, especially going through like a mountain pass or something. It's like constantly having to downshift into a much lower gear and rev really high to get up the pass. But then there's sometimes when it'll want to upshift and it's like, oh no, don't have enough power, downshift, right? It is totally archaic. In an EV, you just go. Seriously. So again, the exception there, I could see, like, if I wanted an ICE vehicle, I would only want one if I wanted a performance car. I personally like the Mazda Miata. Make fun of me if you want, but a manual transmission Mazda Miata would be pretty fun to have. It's so small though, like it'd be pretty scary. It's like riding a motorcycle almost, like. But or Corvette C8, right? Manual transmission. Do they even make one? Even if they don't, they got the paddle shifters now, whatever. A performance car like that would be pretty cool. But for all regular cars, all normal cars, people just need to start shifting to EVs. Like, if you're gonna shop for a new car, just start looking at EVs. It's just such a no-brainer now. The charging infrastructure is there. If you own a home, you can put a level 2 charger and you can just plug it in whenever you want. I mean, it is such a no-brainer to own an EV now, or to buy one if you're going to get a new car. I get it. If you have an existing car and you've been driving it for a while, keep driving it until you're ready to buy a new. But when you go to buy new, get an EV. Don't get a new internal combustion engine vehicle. Just don't. It's so silly now to even bother doing that anymore. So there you have it. Internal combustion engine vehicles, completely archaic. Few exceptions. Again, I talked about the performance car, and I'm talking nice, good performance cars. 911, right? Something like that. Or again, I get it if you're doing long haul towing, right? If you're towing a trailer and you're going long distances, I understand why you wouldn't want an EV. But those are the only exceptions, right? And so, yeah, there you have it. I appreciate your support for my channel. Please like and subscribe.